This is RT International coming to you live from Moscow with me, Marina Joshi. Welcome to the program. Now, the Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov has claimed unprecedented threats are being aimed at Russia from the U.S. Now, with more on that, what's caused such a statement to be made, RT's Ilya Petrenko joins us live now in the studio. So, Ilya, tell us a bit more. What's the background to all of this?
Marina, hi. Well, again, U.S. and Russian leadership on the highest level are putting up a word fight. And if we just look at the timeline of all this, I can tell you that on Friday night, well, it was a little earlier if we look at the U.S. time, NBC News cited unnamed CIA officials saying that their agency is working hard on a potential cyber attack against Russia. Now, this was meant to be, according to them, in retaliation for Russia's alleged meddling in the U.S. presidential race. You, of course, remember claims of Russian hacker attacks with a purpose of somehow undermining and compromising Clinton's campaign. Now, Russia denied this all along, saying that Washington cannot back it up with any kind of evidence. Now, according to NBC, the planned attack is to, quote, harass and embarrass Russia's leaders. Now, just a little later, we got a tweet from WikiLeaks, and they were saying something along the lines, why would American officials actually announce this kind of attack? And why is the CIA on it instead of the NSA, for example? But MSNBC journalist was asking Joe Biden about it, and the U.S. vice president confirmed that their intelligence was on it, and he spoke about this intention with some very serious claims.
Why haven't we sent a message yet to Putin?
We're sending a message. We have the capacity to do it, and the message
He'll
we
know
sent,
it?
he'll know it.
Will the public know it?
I hope not.
The Russian media, in its turn, was very quick to get the reaction from Putin's spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov. And the question was, Mr. Peskov, what do you think of claims that CIA is actually preparing a full-on cyber attack against Russia? Now, Dmitry Peskov said that this wasn't really that was worrying him because, again, it was something that the U.S. media came up with. But more importantly were actually the words of Vice President Biden.
We will take precautions. The fact is the unpredictability and aggression of the United States is growing. Such threats against Moscow and against the leadership of our country are unprecedented because that threat is announced at the level of the U.S. Vice President. And of course, on the background of such an aggressive line, unpredictable line, we have to take measures to protect our interests, to somehow hedge our risks.
Well, the Russia-U.S. relationship has been on the bumpy road for quite some time lately, but tell me one thing. I mean, how did things escalate so quickly? How did we get to where we are now in our relationship?
Well, this recent escalation was, as you were saying, quick. But to be honest with you, this story with accusations of Russian hackers meddling into the U.S. presidential campaign, it's been going on for several months right now. But I guess a very important step in this was this official U.S. intelligence report, which officially claimed that the Russian government is directly involved in compromising the emails of U.S. officials. Now, that's really, when that intelligence report came out, that was really, let's say, a signal for many U.S. officials to come out with a barrage of comments on it. Let's take a listen.
We released the information because we are confident in the assessment that we made through the intelligence community, and we will and can respond in ways that we choose to at the time of our choice.
The President has talked before about the significant capabilities that the U.S. government has to both defend our systems in the United States, but also carry out offensive operations in other countries. There are a range of responses that are available to the President, and he will consider a response that's proportional.
So this is an apparent escalation, but just to take a step back, we can look back at the words that Vladimir Putin had to say about it. He actually expressed doubt that this needs to be taken with full seriousness, because according to the Russian president, this can just be a side effect of the U.S. presidential campaign.
During every election campaign, and not just now, they're whispering in our ears. Do not pay attention to this, it will pass, and we will be friends again. You can't do this. You can't use Russia as a bargaining chip in the internal political fight and damage bilateral relations.
But of course, the prospect of a full-out cyber war is very worrying. We'll just have to see if Vladimir Putin was right here, whether all of this would vanish after the U.S. elections are over.
Well, all I can say now is a cliche. Let's wait and see, of course. But for now, though, we're watching the developments. But thanks for bringing us this update on the story. Leah Petrenko, they're here in the studio. Well, we discussed the issue with U.S. diplomat Jim Jadrus, who believes there could still be hidden reasons for a cyber offensive against Moscow.
This is almost like a press release that the government is giving out as a warning shot or really a threat against the Russians. And even though they're saying this is connected to the election, there's no real evidence regarding the DNC and the other things on WikiLeaks, what the statement says is that it's geared toward interference with the election itself, with the voting. And anybody who's familiar with our system knows that that's next to impossible. We don't have a single nationwide voting system. We have 50 states, thousands of local state and county systems, most of which are paper, most of which are, even the electronic ones, not connected to the internet. So the idea that Russia or anybody else could hack into those is just absurd.
Now, the blame game began some time ago with the latest accusations claiming WikiLeaks and Russia are somehow linked in releasing emails from Hillary Clinton's campaign chair.
It all began with a tweet. RT America commented online about the latest batch of emails from Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, John Podesta, which had been made public by WikiLeaks. Journalist Christopher Miller noticed RT tweeted about the leaks earlier than WikiLeaks itself, which to him suggested RT knew about the material before it was even released. His idea proved incendiary and was picked up by Clinton's camp, which claimed the tweet was evidence of Russian interference in the US presidential race. WikiLeaks, however, denied the accusations. It said the leaks were available on its website for all to see. Nevertheless, the story continued to spread. In less than a day, one tweet was enough to make the mass media and US politicians completely sure Russia was again guilty of hacking.
There is growing evidence that Russia is using WikiLeaks as a delivery vehicle for hacked emails and other information. U.S. officials with knowledge of the investigation tell CNN.
I don't think there's any question that Russia is involved. Russia is trying to influence this campaign.
Now, we just have to wait to see if the scandal will be commented on by top-level American officials. After all, we've seen it play out exactly like this before. This summer, what started as a reference to an unnamed source disclosing alleged Russian hacking of the Democratic campaign ended with official confirmation by US intelligence. And a 3-paragraph report with lots of confidence, but not a single shred of proof. Well, even though the US authorities claim there's an official investigation underway into Russia's involvement, it seems we're unlikely to ever see any of its results.
I'll let the FBI speak to what evidence they've been able to amass, but I think they're also cognizant of the fact that as soon as they make a declaration like that, most people are going to understandably be interested in seeing that evidence. And some of that evidence may not be something that we want to show.
But while many remain eager to see at least some sort of evidence, U.S. presidential candidate Hillary Clinton has made the most of the unverified claims, and it's just one of the strategies Clinton is using in her latest bid to win voters.
Hillary Clinton often compares her political rivals at home and geopolitical rivals abroad to historical tyrants.
Claims by President Putin and other Russians that they had to go into Crimea, that is reminiscent of claims that were made back in the 1930s when Germany under the Nazis kept talking about how they had to protect German minorities in Poland, in Czechoslovakia, and elsewhere throughout Europe.
Hillary Clinton recently wrote an op-ed for Time magazine in which she described the United States as an exceptional nation. Yet the language she used to express her views has struck some as very similar to that used by 20th century strongmen in their speeches. We thought we'd see if New Yorkers could tell Clinton from famous dictators, judging by their quotes alone. We clearly understand that such comparisons are a little extreme, but the similarities in textology are so striking, we decided to give it a try. Today, I am the head of the strongest army in the world, the most gigantic Air Force, and of the most proud Navy.
Winston Churchill?
Was that Obama?
George Washington?
Nope.
I don't know.
That would be Adolf Hitler.
Shit.
Top stuff.
This country is indispensable because of our network of alliances. Our allies amplify our power, aid, and defense and stand with us in both good times and bad.
Donald Trump. Obama?
Nope.
Hillary?
Is that still Hitler?
No.
Ah, good.
That's actually Hillary Clinton.
Ah, good.
We now have allies who, together with us, are maintaining a united front. We now enjoy the sympathy and support of all nations of Europe. We now have a splendid army and splendid navy who are defending their lives with the liberty and independence of our country.
George W. Bush.
No idea.
Barack Obama? Is that? No, I don't know.
Someone famous.
That's Stalin, actually.
Ah, he is quite famous.
We have the greatest military in history with the best troops, the best training and technology.
Donald Trump?
You're close.
Hitler?
You're
Obama. Bill Clinton.
You're very close.
Obama.
It's actually Hillary Clinton.
Really?
This country and its allies represent power, military, economic, and above all, in moral respects, which is superior to any possible coalition in the world.
Mussolini.
You're close.
Hitler?
Yep. You got it right.
Yes.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
What do you think of all these quotes?
A lot of people boasting about and, you know, shaking the nationalism spear.
Well, it sounds like, nowadays some of the politicians, what they said, they all sound like the same. And some of the quotes from Hitler, I was impressed. Not impressed by what he have done, but I'm impressed that that's what he said.
It seems like Clinton stands by a little bit of things that I didn't think she did. So
people seemed a little bit surprised by words that have already come from the mouth of the person who could soon be occupying the Oval Office. Caleb Maupin, RT, New York.
Oh, we can say whatever we want. I mean, there's no law against it. What this is, of course, it's being able to use the language, being able to appreciate the protean malleability of language and how one phrase used correctly can connote one thing. Terrorist, freedom fighter. We've already been through this. Insurgent, rebel. This goes to show you that not only do we fight wars or prosecute military actions with weapons, we also use language.